Hey, welcome everybody. It's your boy AJ Tripp. Today we're going into that topic. We're doing the LeBron James Michael Jordan debate in this episode of Point Blank Period End of Discussion. And as you can see by the title, I want to let you know why LeBron James can never, ever be the GOAT. There will always be Michael Jordan. And then after this video, I'm going to do another video where I do maybe some little small introspection about myself and everybody out there when it comes to this topic. Because this topic is a very polarizing one that, makes me become somebody that I don't particularly like. So, that being said, that video, we'll talk about that video more in that video. But let's stay on topic with this one. This is the Michael Jordan LeBron James debate, and of course this happened most recently as this Memorial Day Memorial Day weekend. LeBron James spectacularly took his Cleveland Cavaliers, perhaps the worst team he's been on since the 2007 Cleveland Cavaliers, that he has took to the finals. And it's the debate has ramped up the last couple of years, right? It's ramped up the last couple of years, and it's very interesting because I was almost certain that this debate was over. This debate was over. I really did. I thought the debate was over once he switched from, Miami back to Cleveland. And I thought it was over, but just because of a lot of the things that, a lot of people said at that time, they talked about, switching teams and doing all these other things and chasing rings and doing all of this other stuff that great players in the past would never have done, especially Michael Jordan. People wanted to come play with Michael Jordan. Nobody, Michael Jordan didn't have to go play with anybody else. And so, I thought this debate was over, but he beat the. I think what happens is that he beats the 73-9 Golden State Warriors, right? Beats 73-9 Golden State Warriors. He wins the championship for Cleveland, the first in however many years it's been, and I think that's when it started to ramp up again. By beating that great of a team, could he be better than Michael? And it's just, and I just don't get it that he goes back to another finals last year, but gets beat. And the way he went there, because both the Cavaliers and the Warriors last year, if you remember, in that final, they were sweeping everybody. So the Warriors, I believe, swept the entire Western Conference. The Cavaliers swept the first two rounds, and I think they lost a game, in the conference finals, going into the finals. And of course, the Warriors beat them 4-1. And so again, I thought this was over. I thought this debate was over, but it looks like it's never going to be over, and it looks like it's going to be as passionate and as it's going to be as passionate and as and maybe even as hateful as politics gets. As it gets about gun debate and abortion and anything political. When you have one side saying this, one side saying that, it starts to get hateful. You can never respect somebody's opinion, and I think this is how this is going to get with this debate as LeBron James continues on in his career, and he's continuing to do things, and as he continues to pile up stats and continue to get awards and maybe even win championships, you know, it's just going to get more and more, and it's going to be just a lot on this side where it's just going to be, you know, it's going to get hateful, and it's crazy. And I think the biggest thing about it is that it's getting down to the point of where you're just discrediting everybody on one side, and even to a point, I'm doing it, and I'm doing it with this video right here. You know, this is called point blank period in a discussion. If you look in the description box, I tell you that, you know, 99% of the stuff in this world is a black and a white, or 95%, whatever I have down there, and there's that 5% that says this is what it is, and that's what it is, and that's what I'm saying in this video. And to a point, I do believe that. I do believe that without question. That Michael Jordan's the greatest, and there, you know, is not even close. LeBron James is the second greatest player of all time, and let's just leave it at that, right? Let's just, you know. And again, I'm gonna do a word according to me, and I'll talk more about that, you know, that kind of thing in that video. I may repeat some of the stuff in this video as well, but yeah, so with that being said, when I'm doing these point blank period in the discussion videos, I go over the all of these stats. I go over all of the things, and I make sure that I do everything that I can, you know, to look at both sides as equally as I can. I found a couple websites that I'm going to be going from. The links are down in the description box below if you want to look at them while I go through this, or if in your past, after you watch this video, if you want to look at these links, you can click the links in the description box, and you can look at it yourself. But I'm just gonna just let you know, and at the end of the video, I'm just gonna give you the main reasons why, you know, this and really all of my stuff comes down to the eye test. I can give you stats and accomplishments and everything like that. And then, like I was fighting on people on Twitter, you know, over the weekend. And listen, LeBron James is going to play longer than Michael. He is. He's going to play longer than Michael. More than likely, unless there's a horrific injury, unless there's a tragedy, you know, or unless he just shocks us and retires out of the blue. He's probably going to play longer than Michael. So he's going to accomplish more things, more than likely, and pile more stats. But it doesn't, excuse me, that doesn't make him better. It just doesn't. And here's some of the things about it. Let's go to one of the first websites here. And this is actually Hoops Hype, right? Hoopshype.com. And it says here, this is 10 key stats that LeBron still trails Jordan in the race for best ever. 10 key stats. So let's check these out. First one they have here: appearances on the NBA All-Defensive Team. Jordan 9 times, LeBron 6. So it says here, Jordan, one of the fiercest players to ever play the game. That intensity was often shown on the defensive end of the floor. He took 0 plays off and often guarded the other team's best player. LeBron has also excelled on defense, but still trails MJ in this category. And yes, I think this is, without question, you know, probably about 87, 88. What you were hearing was, and you heard these things from Michael. You heard those things about Michael. Michael heard them and said Michael was never going to be. He was always going to be just a scorer. He was going to be a player. He decided to say, "Well, fuck you, fuck you," and he hunkered down and he became the defensive player of the year. And led the league in steals and everything. So there were many things that LeBron, that Michael Jordan is better at than LeBron, and he's like, you get more all defensive teams than LeBron. And again, like I said, LeBron can easily pass that. He plays for more years. He's going to be on the defense team. LeBron is a great defender. That is without question. Career free throw percentage. This is number 2. Jordan 83.5. LeBron James 73.9. Now I'm not sure if this is that important. Because listen, Shaq was what, maybe just a little bit above 51% for his career. At the free throw line, but we know that Shaq was a dominant player, an all-time great. Maybe I think the best center to ever play the game. So I'm not sure about that. Let's see what it says though. If there is one part of LeBron's game that could be seen as a weakness, it's his performance at the charity stripe. Jordan, meanwhile, isn't one of the all-time greats in this category, but he was pretty darn solid and absolutely lived to hit the ones late in games that counted the most. He even hit a few with his eyes closed during his career, which was fun. Yes, it was fun. There's that one back from the 91 season, I think it was, and Dikembe, who was on the Denver Nuggets, was he was talking to him, and I think he dared him to hit one with his eyes closed, and he did. So that's what happened. This one, number 3, it says dunk contest wins. Jordan 2, LeBron 0. Okay, so and even says here in the thing. Okay, this one isn't that serious, but still, Jordan didn't shy away from appearing in the dunk contest early in his career, and he just did show up and have fun. He took it very seriously and nailed some of the most iconic dunks in the contest history. LeBron, meanwhile, hasn't participated in one of those since entering in the NBA, and they say it isn't all that seriously. Then I kind of say that maybe it shouldn't be on the list. This is something that LeBron haters would say that he wouldn't be in the dunk contest, so he wouldn't experience. He wouldn't give the fans to show that the fans won. And I think that's what a hater would say, and I don't think that needs to be a part of the conversation when you're talking about LeBron versus Michael, if you're gonna have the conversation at all. Well, we're having it, so let's go ahead and do it. But I really don't think that's that should be any type of thing that should come up. Any talk of debate. It really should not be. The next one, it says playoff points per game. Jordan 33.4, LeBron James 28.5. Jordan's list of epic playoff games is a very long one. It starts with his record 63 points against the Celtics in 1986, and he ends with his last bucket in the NBA Finals, that game winner over Byron Russell and the Utah Jazz. With almost 5 more points a game, Jordan was a far superior scorer when it mattered the most. And I think this is something that you can go a little bit into, because again, earlier in his career, I think that was one of the big questions about LeBron was that LeBron was maybe too passive. LeBron was too passive early in his career, and there was times when he would just let other people, pass, and he's always wanted to be that guy that got other players involved. He always wanted to be that player. People always said that he was more magic than Jordan. he was always more magic than Jordan, and I've always agreed with him without question. You know, his size of being 6'8" and everything like that. So yeah, I really do think he's always more passive, but Jordan always took the game over when it counted. If someone was going to take the shot, make or miss, it was going to be Jordan, unless it made sense. Sure, there were times Jordan passed it to Curry, passed it to Paxson, passed it to Grant, passed it to Scotty, passed it to Kukoc, passed it to Cartwright. You know, there were a lot of times when he passed it, but when the game was on the line, he was going to take the shot. And I put this out to Twitter, and this is kind of a troll job. I admit it's kind of a troll job, but I really personally think that one of the greatest of all time in an NBA Finals, the greatest of all time, quote unquote, like some people want to say, would never score 8 points in a game, in a finals game. That to me, that's just never going to, the greatest player of all time is never going to do that. I checked and I looked. The lowest point total that Michael Jordan ever scored in a finals game was 22. LeBron James had a finals game where he scored 8 points. But let's continue. Let's go back to the defense. We talked. The first one was the all defensive teams. Jordan had 9, LeBron had 6, and this is about it. Michael Jordan was the league leader in steals 3 times. LeBron James 0. Let's see what they have to say. Jordan probably is as proud of these achievements as he is about all of the scoring he did. He was a force defensively, as seen by the 9 times he was on the all-defensive team. But leading the league in steals 3 different times might even be more impressive, and this without question. Again, you're talking about LeBron James, great defender. Michael Jordan was better, and I think that's why if we get into the truly stupidness of this conversation, and we would say if 28-year-old Michael played 28-year-old, or I guess maybe 30, right? 30-year-old Michael played 30-year-old LeBron James, and they played 100 times one-on-one. Who would win, and who would come out like that? And it's probably it's probably one of the biggest times of foolishness and fuckery that you could ever go about, because that's totally never going to happen, at least in real life. You can do it on a video game, but that's never going to happen. That being said, if we're going to go this fantasy route, I think some of these things prove to you that I think Michael Jordan would win 75 out of the 100 times. I just think that's the case. Defensively, he would lock down LeBron. And it'd be one of those things. I don't know what they would do. I don't know if it'd be like a game of 21 or something like that. I don't know necessarily what the game it would be. But we just talked about 21. You have to shoot free throws. We just kind of see that LeBron James, free throw shooting is not that great all time. But I just think whatever in the case, I think it's continued to be proven that in this ridiculous fantasy world, that Michael Jordan would beat him every 3 out of 4 times. Points per game: Jordan 30.1. LeBron James 27.5. Jordan, who consistently scored well, averaged over 30 points a game in 8 different seasons. LeBron James, meanwhile, has only averaged 30 points a game in 2 different seasons. And I think to not just like the points per game, but I think I think one of the things, Stephen A. talks about errors, right? Errors, and the error that you played in. And if you're talking about Michael Jordan played in the era that was more physical. It was more defense, I think there were more. The teams were almost every other team had a star, star player or something like that. Teams were not tanking. Teams were not, teams were not, trying to lose. They were not putting out their, for lack of a better term, heart garbage, to try to get the number one pick to turn around their franchise. They were going out there trying to compete. And like I said, it was a physical kind of game. And the rules were a lot different than it is now. You could hand check. You could guide them in different ways and things like that. If you hit, today a flagrant foul can easily be just you go for the block and miss, and you hit them on the head, and that can be a flagrant one. Flagrant fouls, there sometimes, and if you watch the Bad Boy 30 for 30, Robert Parrish threw 2 punches at Bill Laimbeer. He wasn't thrown out of that game. He threw punches. You cock your arm and you get ejected in this league. The defensive rules now is so dedicated towards offense. And we see it all the time. Again, the way Michael Jordan played, there's no question in my mind. I have no doubt that I think if you plucked LeBron and put him back in that league, I'm sure he would be great. But if you took Michael Jordan, guy who for one season scored 37.1, over 3,000 points in a season, 37.1 points, and put him in today's game, I think that extrapolates. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say what I think it extrapolates to. I would just say this. He probably would average 50. He would do a Wilt Chamberlain and average 50 in a game. Okay? So, that's, another reason why Jordan's the GOAT and LeBron isn't. So, NBA Finals MVPs. They have on here, once again, if you're joining this in the middle of this somewhere else, something like that, or I'm HoopsHype.com's done an article. It's called the 10 Key Stats that LeBron James still trails Jordan in race for best ever. The link is down in the description box if you want to continue on reading along with me or something like that. So I'm here. This is number 7. This is NBA Finals MVP. Jordan 6, LeBron 3. Jordan led the Bulls to 6 NBA Finals, and of course they won them all. Jordan, who saved a number of his most memorable moments, the switching hands shot against the Lakers, the shrug against the Blazers, the shot against the Jazz. Although the shot is actually the shot is the Cleveland shot. It's the hanging over Elo. That's shot number 1, and then there's the shot 2 where he shoots it over Gerald Wilkins, the AKA Jordan stopper. So it's but you know what I mean. For the game's biggest stage, LeBron has an incredible 7 straight trips to the NBA Finals, now make it 8, and winning 3 times and being named MVP of each of those times. Yeah, I mean, listen. I think this is on a bigger level. I think there's that clip from that movie. Where it's where the little kid is talking about LeBron James is better, and the guy, he always talks about 6 rings, and then the kids say, well, you always bring about rings. The guy, it's the only thing I need, Sean. Well, obviously, I think we're not at the point where the rings are not a part of it anymore. I really don't. I think because I just don't believe, and I don't think anybody else out there believes, that LeBron James is going to get to 6 or past 6. I don't think anybody is going to believe that. No matter what happens, or LeBron James isn't going to be the best player when he gets, you know, 6 or past 6. So I don't know if the rings and the rings aren't a big thing to begin with me, because Bill Russell has 11 rings, right? Bill Russell has 11 rings. So if rings are the end all be all, then he would be the greatest of all time. And the greatest Bill Russell is and was. Again, he played in a way before 2 eras before Michael's era. And I think that has to go into it as well, and I don't want to take nothing away from him, but I just don't think he's the greatest of all time either. So I don't know rings can be a part of this discussion. I do think losses can be part of this discussion. I really do, because once again, I do think if you're the greatest player of all time, you're going to get to the and you're not going to get to the final and just lose. And we can take out that one in 2007, because I believe too that if Jordan got to the finals, which would have been in '88, if he would have got to the finals in '88, or in '87, that he would have got beat. As well. The talent wasn't there. The talent was there, but was young and inexperienced. He was young and inexperienced. So, yeah, I agree with that. So we take out that one. But let's get to when he started going there. And I just don't think. Again, I talked about the 8 points in the finals game. I just don't think you're going to score 8 points in the finals. You're not going to be the best ever. You're not going to allow your team to lose that finals. And then you can talk about what he's going. And now he's going up against 3 Hall of Famers, 4 All Stars with in the Golden State Warriors the past 4 years since he's come back to Cleveland. And at least the last 2 years he's played for All Stars. And the 73 and 19, but he beat the 73 and 19. Again, the greatest player of all time isn't going to let this happen. Now we still have this NBA Finals to watch, right? Although I personally don't think that is going to happen. I am rooting for it against to happen. And again, I'm going to talk about that in the word according to me. But I think from a bigger side, the greatest player of all time isn't just going to allow teams that were not that allow teams to beat them. I just don't. Once Michael got to the finals, didn't lose. I think that's one of the things that made him great. He wasn't going to allow his team to lose, and I think, again, that's something that maybe LeBron James, and everybody can't have that, and that's okay. But again, I put this out on Twitter. He deserves so many accolades. He deserves so much respect. He deserves so much of everything, praise, that you can put on him, except the title greatest of all time. And that's Michael Jordan. The NBA scoring championship. It says here LeBron James did it once. Jordan has done it 10 times. I think this one is maybe again on the smaller side. It's something that again that makes Jordan on the scene, But I also think that, but I also think that again, I think the one negative for this was that you were talking about maybe you were talking about maybe a time when Even though the teams were more balanced and everything like that, you know, but and the competition was better to overcome those. I mean, also there wasn't a lot more scoring, from stars, while Jordan was scoring, 30 points, the other stars were just scoring 20, and 25. But there were like 3 or 4 players that were scoring 20 to 25 on all those teams. Let's read what it said there. Jordan was a scoring champ 7 times in a row before retiring to play baseball. And he came back and averaged 3 more times. Got it 3 more times. He averaged over 30 points in each of those seasons, including the career best 37.1 in the 86-87 season. LeBron led the league in scoring in the 27-28 season when he averaged exactly 30 points a game. I think that might have been the finals year, the 07-08 season. Or it was either the 06-07. I'm not sure, but one of those 2 years was the finals year when he was young and he took those Cleveland Cavaliers to the finals against the San Antonio Spurs. NBA MVPs: Jordan 5, LeBron 4. Both Jordan and LeBron probably could have won this award at every season they laced up their shoes and took the court, but that's not how things work. Jordan won his first in 87-88. They watched Magic Johnson win back-to-back the next 2 years before winning it in back-to-back years. LeBron hasn't been named MVP since the 2012-2013 season, but he's been in the conversation every year since. And I agree with that first one. They both can win it. But I also say this. When you are the undisputed best player in the game at that time, I do think that writers and media members and they should start looking to see what else is going on. And if you have a guy who is averaging a triple-double for a season, then yeah, you go ahead and you give it to Westbrook. Or if you have a guy who's traded and is having his best year of his life, then yes, you give it to Charles Barkley. And you do it, and then you do it all the time. So yeah, so you do it. I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing to do that. So, I have no problems with writers, going on and looking for other things. And I think next year is going to be the same. I think the writers are going to be looking to see if they can give it to somebody else and not LeBron. They're going to be looking to see Kevin Durant. They're going to be looking to see Kevin Durant. They're going to be looking to see it in Philly. What's happening in Philly? They're going to be looking to see what's happening in Boston. They're going to be looking all around to see if there's somebody who's just having one of the all-time great year. And if they are, they're going to probably give it to them. Or if somebody's team, like if somehow the Utah Jazz or the Portland Trailblazers were to come out of nowhere, and maybe even the best one is the New Orleans Hornets. Anthony Davis seems to be on the verge of being the best player in this league. And the New Orleans Hornets come back from where they are to being like the number 1 spot in the West. I think Anthony Davis could totally get that MVP. So, I don't know. When it comes to this MVPs, again, I think there are definitely some things, and again, I think also to talk about. I think a lot of people in the media just said that Michael Jordan was just a scorer, and he wasn't more. so he wasn't in it for he wasn't in the conversation. The 87-88 season, I think we just mentioned it right. That was that 37.1 year he had scoring. So I think that's a part of it. But then they said he goes back and gives to Magic Johnson. So I kind of think that that's just the way it is. That's I think the next year I think he had a 35-point scoring season. So, but it is what it is. Jordan has 6. LeBron has 5. I believe we are coming up on the last one. NBA titles: LeBron 6, the Jordan 6, LeBron 3, and this we talked about this when they talked about the Finals MVP. So I'm not gonna go back over this very much. I would just say that again, just to reiterate, I don't know if the so-called greatest player of all time loses a finals. Loses a finals. I don't think, and I do acknowledge that the LeBron James that is at Cleveland is a different LeBron James that was in Miami, and totally different than the one that one-off one in 07, when he took that team to the finals, the Cavalier team to the finals. So totally different team, totally different player than those years. But again, you lose that first one to Golden State, and then of course you lost last year to Golden State, and you might lose this year to Golden State. So I think seriously at the beginning when it comes down to how many championships, when it's all said and done, it comes down to how many championships a player has won. And it would really be hard for LeBron to ever pass Jordan in this category. And that's what I said earlier. So I again, we talked about what's his face, Bill Russell, having 11. So again, I think rings, championships are just one thing that goes in Jordan's favor, but it shouldn't be the main reason. It shouldn't be the main reason you say Jordan is better than LeBron, because I think, and again, in all fairness to LeBron, I don't think LeBron is ever going to get there. Or if he would get there, he's never going to, or if he does get there, when he does get there, he's going to be he's going to be like Robert Horry. Robert Horry has 7 rings. All 7, and all 7 of those rings, he was a role player. And even though he hit big shots, nicknamed Big Shot Bob, he wasn't the guy. And I think if LeBron gets a 6, he's going to be on a team that he's not the guy. He's just the role player. Okay, so let's quickly go through the actual side-by-side comparison. Since this is the second website that I have, it's called landofbasketball.com. Really, all you do is you put in LeBron James versus Michael Jordan comparison into Google, and it's either the first or the second one that pops up. So, excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Let's go ahead and just go through this. We'll go through this quickly, because this is almost kind of like the things that we talked about with the other website. NBA championships and seasons. NBA championships, Michael 6, LeBron 3. NBA seasons. Both have played 15 NBA seasons. There was somebody on here saying that Michael Jordan played longer than LeBron James. They played the exact amount of NBA seasons. It's crazy. They played in the exact amount of playoffs, 13. All-Star games, the exact amount of All-Star games. And then there's one of the things, like I said earlier. LeBron James is going, because he came in when he was 18, and Michael did when he was 21, and he's going to play longer than Michael and going to accomplish more. But just because he does it doesn't mean he's the best. You know, honors and awards. Michael Jordan, 5 East MVPs. LeBron James, 4. Finals MVP. Michael 6, LeBron 3. All NBA first team. LeBron has more. He has 12. Michael has 10. Played longer. All NBA team selections. LeBron 14. Michael 11. All defensive teams. Michael 9. LeBron 5. All defensive teams. Total selections. Michael 9. LeBron 6. Defensive player of the year. Michael 1. LeBron nothing. Scoring leader. Michael 10. LeBron 1. Steals leader. Michael 3. LeBron 0. Rookie of the year. Each one was named Rookie of the Year. NBA regular season stats. Points per game. Michael 30.1. LeBron 27.2. Rebounds. LeBron 7.4. Michael 6.2. Assists. LeBron 7.2. Michael 5.3. Steals. Michael 2.3. LeBron 1.6. Blocks. Both at 0.8. And they talk about total stats. Total points. LeBron has 30,292. LeBron 31,038. He's gonna pass Michael next year, and is once again going to exacerbate this debate on him being better than Michael. He's got more rebounds than Michael. He's got more assists, total assists than Michael. Michael has more steals, 2,500 to 1,800. They're virtually even in blocks. Michael's got 893. LeBron's got 888. And total games played, once again, Michael 1,072. LeBron 1,143. Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah. Field goal percentage, LeBron James is 50%. Michael 49%. I mean, 3-point percentage, LeBron James at 34%. Michael 32%. And again, I talked about this. I'm almost certain that Michael Jordan played in the era where threes weren't as prominent as they are today. But there's no question in my mind that if you took Michael Jordan out and put him in today's game, Michael Jordan's 3-point percentage would go up probably about 80 points. He would be a 400%, a 40%. Excuse me, I'll put it that way, a 40% 3-point shooter. I have no doubt in my mind. We talked about free throw percentage, 835 for 739 for Michael over LeBron. This is the best season. No game minimum. This is just best season. So in Michael Jordan's best season, 1987, he scored 37.1 points a game. LeBron James' best season, 2006, was 31.4. Rebounds, 1989, Michael Jordan averaged 8 per game. In 2018, this year, LeBron James did 8.6. Assists per game, LeBron James this season was 9.1. Michael Jordan, 1989, he had 8.0. And steals per game, LeBron James best for 2005, 2.2 steals per game. Michael Jordan, 1988, had 3.2 steals per game. And again, in blocks, this is when he won Defensive Player of the Year. Michael Jordan was 1.6 per game. LeBron James is 1.1 per game. That was in 2009. And again, I can do the playoff stats. You're talking about Michael Jordan 33.4, LeBron James 28.8. LeBron James has them in rebounds and assists. Again, Michael has steals. And they're virtually tied on blocks. Again, because he's played more games, LeBron James has beats in total stats. He's got them in points, total rebounds, total assists, total steals, total blocks, and total games. So it is what it is. It just is what it is. And the best playoffs again 2009 for LeBron, scoring 35.3 in 1986. And this one, and I think as all of us know, in 1986, this one is a little bit skewed, shall we say, because he had a 63-point game against the Boston Celtics, but he scored 43.7 in 1986, and he also only played 3 games. He was swept. That is something that a lot of LeBron James people will say, that LeBron James was never swept out of the first round like Michael was in a couple of years, early in his career, and even LeBron early in his career. And I guess you give that credit, but I also think LeBron James he played in an era. He played in an era where it was the best of 5. He didn't play. He didn't play in the best of 5 era, right? For the most part, I think his first 4 or 5 years might have been the best out of 5, but again, we talking about those years where his first 2 years, I don't think he made the playoffs. So there's a lot of things there. Although again, that's a plus for LeBron. We just said that right there. It's a plus for LeBron. He was never swept out of the first round. But then we can never say that Michael Jordan never never went to a Game 7 in the NBA Finals, and that's happened several times with LeBron. And LeBron's credit, he's won 2 of those 3, I believe. Right, I believe he's won 2 of those 3. It may not even be 3, because the one, when he lost to San Antonio his last year in Miami, that won a 7-game series. So yeah, I believe he won the 7-game series with against Cleveland and against the Warriors, against San Antonio. So, but still, again, he had to go to a 7-game. Michael never let it get that far. You got him in rebounds. 11.3 in 2015, Michael 7.9, 97. Assists, it was 8.7 this year. 8.8, excuse me, Michael was 8.5 and 85. Steals, again, Michael Jordan 2.8 in 90. LeBron had 2.3 in 2016, and again Michael was 2.3 in 87, and LeBron James was 1.8 in 2010. So I mean, listen, they are comparable without question. They are comparable. LeBron James is a monster. Michael James, not Michael James. Maybe that'd be the two. Maybe we should just combine them and have like a Michael James or LeBron Jordan, and then it's all good, right? But I mean, listen, it's all this proves is that LeBron James is one of the greatest players of all time. It's all of this does prove. But now we get down to why me and many other people say that Michael Jordan, without question, is the best of all time. LeBron James can't even get close. While Stephen A. says it, while many others will say it. And it's the eye test. And yes, I know some people say the eye test. The eye test says that LeBron James is bigger, stronger, and faster than Michael. And I wouldn't disagree with you. That's a fact. Yes, Michael 6'6", LeBron James 6'8". Michael Jordan was 220. LeBron James is somewhere 275. You know, and then faster, I'm not sure, but you can see again. I tell you can see if you look at fast breaks, you can see Michael Jordan. You know, how fast LeBron is, and you know how fast Michael Jordan is. So I would say yes, LeBron James bigger, stronger, but that doesn't make him better. It just doesn't. And I think you have to look at the eye test. And I think take together everything in life, but not only the stuff that you've seen from LeBron and the stuff you've seen from Michael, but the stuff you've seen in their respective eras. And you talked about LeBron is playing an era where the Eastern Conference has been nicknamed the Leastern Conference. It's been nicknamed the Leastern Conference because of the talent doesn't stack up to that man. Think about what happened this year. The Indiana Pacers, LeBron James, Cleveland Cavalier team is basically rebuilt halfway through the season at the trade deadline. They trade all of their players. Not all of them. They trade most of their players. Their team is rebuilt. They make the 4th seed. You have Philly, Boston, and the Raptors in front of them. 4th seed. The 5th seed, the Indiana Pacers, takes them to a Game 7, which they win. They face the number 1 seed Toronto Raptors, and they sweep the Raptors. Sweep them off the board. And then they go to Game 7 against the Boston Celtics, who without Gordon Hayward, without Kyrie Irving, takes them to the 7th game of the playoffs. I would be willing to say that if Michael Jordan was playing on that team, that's how a lot of people on Twitter say that Michael Jordan couldn't do what LeBron James did. I would want to say to you that Michael Jordan would have needed to go to Game 7 against the Indiana Pacers, would have needed to go to Game 7 against the Boston Celtics. He would have beat them in 6, maybe 5. Maybe 5. And then you're talking about like the players that LeBron James has had to beat over time. Other than the big 3 in Boston, he's really had to beat I don't want to say nobody, but I'm going to say nobody to get to his finals. He really has. He has never had to beat nobody. Michael Jordan, who did he have to beat? He had to beat Patrick Ewing. He had to beat Reggie Miller. He had to beat Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway, that young Orlando team. He had to beat He had to beat those Boston Celtics. He had to beat those Detroit Pistons, the bad boys. He had to beat Barclays Sixers. And many he had to beat those Cleveland Cavalier teams with Mark Price and Craig Elo and Brad Daugherty and Larry Nance and Ron Harper and Gerald Wilkins in some years. He had to beat those teams. Those teams are so much better than the teams that LeBron has to face. For 8 straight years, LeBron James has had a front row seat to the NBA Finals. They're a front row seat. Michael Jordan had to battle his way to those finals. Okay? And then let's talk about the teams that each had to face in those finals. And this is something that, again, over the weekend on Twitter that we was talking about. Somebody said that the competition LeBron has faced doesn't compare to the competition that Michael has faced. And I think they compare very well. When you're talking about, again, let's not talk about the 07 team, but let's talk about these last 8 years, right? We're talking about what could be a Warriors dynasty with 3 of the greatest players to ever play the game, 3 of the greatest shooters to ever play the game, and then you're talking about the best foreign-born player of all time, Dirk Nowitzki, when he's with the Heat, right? When they were playing the Heat. You're talking about that young OKC team with Kevin, Harden, and Westbrook. and then the other Spurs team, right, with Kawhi Leonard basically being the main guy, and Duncan and Parker and Ginobili being the role players, right? So I think that's good. I think that's good. That's a good resume for LeBron. But then we talk about Michael. We're talking about Magic Johnson Lakers with James Worthy and Byron Scott and all those guys. We're talking about the Portland Trailblazers with Clyde Drexler and Jerome Kersey and those folks. And we're talking about the Phoenix Suns with Charles Barkley, Dan Marley, Kevin Johnson and his crew. And then in the second repeat, we're talking about the Seattle Supersonics with Kemp and Payton and Shrimp and Sam Perkins and many others. And then we're talking about, and then the last two, the Utah Jazz, the pick and roll combination of Malone and Stockton. Jeff Hornacek was good. Byron Russell was a great defender, and many others on their team. I think they stack up. I would give the edge to Michael, but it's a very close edge in that status as well. So again, and once again, can I say, LeBron James has lost. He's lost 5 of his 8 appearances in his 9th NBA Finals, 8 straight. Michael Jordan, 0 losses. Zero losses. So listen, this is. I know when I sit down and I do these videos that this doesn't change the mind of anybody, and if it does, I'm glad. I'm glad this has changed your mind. And yet you see that Michael is best, because I think that helps it out. But I know for the fact, because my other videos, my Ray Lewis video versus Urlacher, my Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning video, those don't change people's minds. And there are people that agree with me, and there are people that disagree with me. And I think when all said and done, I think that's worthy and that's good. Debate is one of the best things about us as people, that we can debate, right? But I think for me, this is the last time I'm getting into this. This is the last time I am getting into this, where I'm going to have talks and conversations about it. Listen, you guys are always welcome to post in my comment section, especially in videos like this. Post your thoughts, post your opinions. Usually, what I do is I let you guys talk amongst yourselves for the most part. But I think there's a part of me that wants to disable the comments, because I don't want to see a comment that says, "Dude, LeBron James is the GOAT. You need to get over it." Because somebody's going to post that. I know it. I'm almost feeling it. And then I want you to reply to that. But I'm not gonna do that, and I don't want to. And I don't want to, be that person that disabled comments on his videos. And I think for the most part, having conversation, having discussion, as long as it's respectful in a way, you don't get into name calling, you don't get into, things like that. I think it's what makes this world great. But for me, I think that this is really the last time. I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best not to get into it in this conversation, into this debate in the comment section. Try to do it on Twitter, do it on Facebook, do it anywhere else. I'm not gonna try to get into it. Because for me, it's not even close. LeBron James is the second greatest basketball player of all time. But he can't hold Michael Jordan's shot. Can't. With that being said, post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Or are you somebody that says, I want to wait until LeBron James is retired? Because that's one thing I've not heard yet. I have not heard the person that says, well, I want to wait till LeBron James retired and then look at everything. I've not heard of that one yet. I would be interested to see if there's somebody out there who has that thought, actually. And if you are that thought, let me know down in the comment section why you want to wait until he's retired. I think that would also kind of be maybe kind of, that also might be like the right thing to do, actually, maybe. Because then we can totally look in totality at both guys, right? Totality at both guys. Although I think, again, like I said before, I don't think LeBron James can do anything to get even close to Michael. So, but that being said, whatever. If it is, please post down in the comment section. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy AJ Tripp signing off. I got a video coming up about this LeBron James, Michael Jordan topic that I think you're also going to want to watch as well. As always, be good to each other all. Be careful out there. And I am out.